Now we're going to take a closer look at the filling your funnel quadrant. The filling your funnel quadrant is a really critical part of both a pet and equine practice. Someone has become aware of your practice, has a need of your practice, you've done all the really good things in the getting noticed quadrant, and now we're walking into the filling your funnel quadrant, and let's take it with the little yellow piece step by step. So the first segment is the inbound call. So if we look at the role of the inbound call, some really critical aspects here to help you with your customer journey. Number one is actually knowing how many calls are presented to your practice. Typically we will find that a one vet equivalent small animal practice will be generating between 850 to 1,000 calls per vet, and in equine between 350 to 500 calls per vet. Obviously at the top end of the scale is better, it gives you more opportunity, and if people are ringing you and they're finding you, then that's a really good thing, and it allows you to then convert that. So measuring your inbound calls through your line provider or through your phone system is a critical part of running the practice. As we move on to engage call. Engage call, absolutely critical that you know when this happens, why it happens, and the frequency with which it happens. High peak engage after a bank holiday, when you've been away for maybe the Saturday, Sunday and the Monday. Particularly peak call engaged when you have in small animal practice, where you'll be asking people to ring in at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock to ask about a pet that's had an operation that day. You're generating extra call volume just as everybody's getting in from work. So looking at when your peak call engaged is will help you with your resourcing and help you decide when is it better to take the phones away from reception, or to consider looking at additional personnel to take those peak volumes. So call engaged percentage shouldn't be any more than 5% of your total calls. As we move into call conversion, once we know how many inbound calls that you've received as a practice, we can then collate that against the number of primary consult ones that you have actually seen. So in a rolling period of a month, you may have had 1,000 phone calls presented to the practice and you had 400 consult ones. A consult one would be a primary first consult or a primary vaccination, which would have a consult within it, and a booster annual health check vaccination appointment, which also would have a consult one in it. So you're looking to achieve a 40% conversion rate in small animal practice and an 80 to 85% conversion rate in equine. So call conversion is a critical part of this filling your funnel journey. Coming around now to your index score. Your index score is how you're doing on the national tracking of customer experience on the phone. We would want you to be really achieving more than 80% on the index. The index is made up of 3 key components, one of which is a business basics measure. When somebody rings you, can they get through? Are they put on hold? Is it engaged? And do you offer them an appointment? It's a measure of your engagement, so did you make the owner feel wanted and welcome? Did you ask about their pet? Did you utilise their pet's name? And was there a feeling of engagement throughout? And if information index. So even though the owner asked one question, did you enrich the conversation with sending them to further information on your website or through Facebook, or did you offer to send them a welcome pack? So targeting your index score really helps you maintain your customer delivery on the phone, and once it's normality on the phone, it rubs off onto the everyday practice when people are in the building as well. So the index score is a really important part of the filling your funnel. Moving through the filling of the funnel to the 5 steps. In relation to how you actually answer the phone, given that 90% of the primary contact in a practice is via the phone, it's critical that this is a process which all of your team members who answer the phone follow. So the 5 steps consist of a great greeting, so that the owner, the caller, knows that they've reached your practice and they know who they're speaking with. So good morning, Super Vets, Alison speaking. They then want on step 2 to make sure that they know the name of the pet or the horse, so that they can then personalise the recommendation. Step 3, there needs to be some engagement and an emotional connection between the owner and the caller. Step 4, there needs to be, from the owner's point of view, some sources of information either offered to be sent or them to be directed to, whether that's web, Facebook, or a welcome pack. And most importantly, the 5th step is the offer of an appointment or a yard visit. So in the filling the funnel segment, the 5 steps, after all your hard work in getting noticed, this is critical. As we move to the telephone itself, looking at the simplicity with which you can make the phone work, Do you have the right kit and equipment to allow you to run the practice? Are you able to park calls? Are you able to move calls around the building? All of these fundamental structural aspects of the phone, all key part of making your filling your funnel work. It's worth reviewing your kit and equipment and getting somebody in to actually review that who can help you with it. And finally, moving through to demonstrating care. One of the biggest challenges with the phone is you can't see the person you're talking to, and given communication consists of a lot of body language and non-verbal communication, the lack of a visual field on the phone means that for many people it sounds very cold, it sounds very matter of fact, it sounds very efficient, but it doesn't sound very emotional or very caring. And to demonstrate care, we will have to work particularly hard to make sure that our tone of voice and our pitch and the words we're using come across in a caring fashion to the person on the other end of the phone. This takes hard work and certainly takes a lot of reviewing of self and performance. So this is a great step for filling the funnel. So demonstrating care. We're now moving into the customer experience segment.